Hello, everyone. This is All Star Hoop Talk with Shane
and Ethan, because every team needs an all-star. Alright, so today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day, but today is also the day that the NBA Finals begin. So let's talk about that first.
All right. What do we need to talk about? Tell us who the two teams are to begin with.
The Boston Celtics going up against the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, which team do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so tell us, what are you going to talk to us about with the Celtics?
Well, we're going to talk about their strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
Then we're going to move on to the Mavericks, and then I'll say who I think is going to win.
Okay, so you're going to hold us in suspense until after we've talked about the Mavericks of who you think's going to win.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about with the Celtics first? Their strengths or their weaknesses?
I'll go with the strengths.
Okay, tell us, what do you feel is their strengths?
Well, first off, they're the best team in the NBA.
So, for the regular season, they were the best team overall. They had the best record?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what other strengths do you think they're going to have? What about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? What do you think that's going to have?
Well, they've always had them, and that's probably the reason, one of the reasons why they were the best team in the NBA in the regular season. And I think those two and the rest of the team, all of them are going to help get them a championship if they win.
Okay, so I've pulled it up here, and Boston only lost twice in the playoffs. One game to the Heat and one game to the Cavs. So, you think that's another strength that they got going for them?
Yeah, but then again, their path, I feel like, because they're the best team in the NBA, theirs has been easier because they're the 8th seed, and so the Mavericks had to face a harder opponent, the 4th seed, the Clippers, and then the Celtics got to face the Cavaliers, but then it got easier after that, and that's why they swept the Pacers.
Okay, so we will continue to see how that kind of plays out, their easy path to a championship or not, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think are their weaknesses? Is it the fact that they've had such a good record, so when they went to the playoffs, they were, like you just mentioned, the first round, they played the number 8 seed, which is easier than going up, being a number 8 seed going up against the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that's one of their weaknesses, that they haven't had? I mean, they've only had 2 losses in the playoffs so far, so they haven't had maybe that real strong competition against them. Do you think that's a weakness? They haven't really been tested yet in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, they've been tested a little bit, but not, I think, to the point that the Mavericks have.
Okay. And did you want to switch to the Mavs yet, or do we still have more to talk about with the Celtics? I think we still have more to talk about with the Celtics, don't we?
Yeah.
So what else do you think is their weakness? I mean, another strength is they're starting tonight at home in Boston.
Yeah.
So that should help Boston, correct?
Yeah, and the fact that because they're the higher seed, if it goes to Game 7, they'll have the home court advantage there.
Okay, and that's always important if you take it to a Game 7, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm not sure what other weaknesses the Celtics have, because, I mean, as we're sitting here talking, it seems like they just have all of these things going for them. What don't they have going for them?
I don't know.
So they've got a lot going for them, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so this kind of goes to the Mavericks' strength. They have Luka. What are the Celtics going to do to kind of contain him and slow him down? Could that be a potential weakness for them?
Yeah, it might, because they're going to try and possibly double team him. But as we all know, when someone's double teaming someone, there's always someone open. And the Mavs, they can shoot really well.
Yeah, and so if the Celtics defense collapses around Luka, who's that going to really leave open for the Mavs?
Kyrie.
And what do you think he's going to do to the Celtics?
He's just going to score a lot.
And primarily threes, won't he?
Yeah, if he has the opportunity.
Yeah. So do you think that could be the Celtics' weakness, that they try to double team Luka, it's going to leave Kyrie open?
Yeah.
And in the same token, do you think that's the same way if they try to double team Kyrie, that it'll leave Luka open, and if Luka gets down low, he's just going to score?
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like the Celtics defense needs to focus in on the fundamentals and not leaving players open and not over double teaming and getting too aggressive with double teams and traps to leave somebody open, right?
Yeah.
So any other weaknesses? What happens if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, they show up, but they're not having great scoring opportunities? You think that's going to be a weakness? Do you think the Celtics could still pull off a win without those two guys having great scoring opportunities?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they've got good players other than just those two, but I think they are really big contributors to the points that they put up, and I think just without them, the Mavs will win.
Okay, so we kind of talked about it with the weakness for the Celtics, that if they double team up a Luka or a Kyrie, that's going to be, leaving one of them open and kind of one of their weaknesses. Do you think that's going to be something that the Mavs need to do as well? Because if they try to double team Jason Tatum, that could leave Jaylen Brown open, and vice versa. If they double team Jaylen Brown, it could leave Jason Tatum open. Do you think the Mavs are concerned about that, or do you think that their defense is solid enough that they don't really focus on double teaming a lot of opponents?
I don't think they'll be too concerned.
Why?
Because their defense is already good. It's not as good as the Celtics, I would say. But I think if they just don't double team, maybe it'll work better than actually double teaming.
Okay, so just sticking to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what about the Mavs? When they're shooting well and working well, are they able to kind of defensively shut down the opponent's team at will when they're on a roll and they've got Luka scoring and they've got Kyrie scoring? Are they able to just kind of control the game on both sides of the ball?
Yeah.
So do you think that the Celtics need to worry about that?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, tell us what your strengths for the Mavs are.
Well, like I keep saying, they had a harder path to the finals, and they beat the Clippers, which was hard. They beat the Thunder, which they were a young team. But
they beat the Thunder easier than it was anticipated. It seemed like the Thunder was going to just roll over them, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really didn't expect that.
I don't think a lot of people expected that.
But then they beat the Timberwolves, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. They have beaten higher seeded teams their entire route to the finals. They were not they were the underdog the entire time, weren't they?
Yeah.
And so coming into the finals, is that kind of a strength for them because they're the underdog again? It's kind of their playoff picture has been this entire season is the underdog.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're used to it, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're probably not listening to everybody calling them out and telling them how good their opponents are and how they can't win and all that. They probably figured out how to block that out and just focus on the game, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be hard for them to go to Boston, and get a win or two? Because they've got to get at least one or two on the road if they really want to win a championship. You think that's going to be hard?
It might, but I think they can do it.
Okay. Continue to tell us why you think their strengths are there. What else do they got?
I don't know.
You don't know? What about Luka and Kyrie and all that? What we were already talking about it. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Oh, so you're saying you don't know anything new?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're the underdog. The Celtics are favored to win. Are you ready to give us our predictions, what your prediction is? Or is there anything more about this NBA Finals for 2024 that we need to know about before we hear your prediction?
No, I think we're ready.
Okay, so with all of the fanfare you can muster, tell us what team is going to win the NBA Finals according to Ethan.
The Mavericks in 6 to 7 games.
6 to 7. So if they win in 6, they'll be at home.
Mm-hmm.
If they win in 7, they're going to win it on the road.
Yep.
And they're going to have to muster everything they've got to do that, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've been kind of favoring a lot of the underdogs throughout the playoffs, and sometimes those have worked, and you had a lot of good predictions. What makes you so confident that you're going to be able to predict the right one this time?
Once again, just their path to the finals. I definitely think the Timberwolves could have beaten the Thunder really easily, but instead it was harder for the Mavericks to beat the Thunder and then much easier to beat the Timberwolves, which I found surprising.
Yeah. And so tonight, who do you think is going to walk away with the first game win tonight?
The Celtics.
So you think they'll win at home tonight?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be a close game, or do you think it'll be kind of a blowout?
A close game.
You think it'll come down to the wire?
Maybe the last 3 minutes.
Okay. So do you think it'll be a close game back and forth all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. And who do you think is going to be the star player for the Celtics, and then who's going to be the star player for the Mavericks to really watch tonight?
Definitely Jaylen Brown for the Celtics.
Okay.
And then Luka Doncic for the Mavericks.
Okay. So we'll have to watch that, and on our next episode we'll have to come back and see how well your predictions are, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's kind of go over to the WNBA and let's see what's going on over there. So for the regular season standings, we've got who's still undefeated?
The Connecticut Suns.
And they are undefeated still at 9-0. That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it's possible, and I can't remember, what the longest winning streak to start a season in the NBA has been. But obviously no team has ever gone undefeated. They've always lost a game or two throughout the regular season. But still, to go this far in and still be undefeated, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's almost 1/4 of their season because they only play 40 games throughout their season.
Wow. So they are on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last team that hasn't won anything yet is
the Washington Mystics.
Oh, man. Do you think they're going to come out with any wins this season?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Indiana Fever that everybody keeps talking about this year because of the phenomenal player Caitlin Clark, they finally got 2 wins now, right?
Yeah.
And that second win came in the Commissioner's Cup, correct?
Yep.
And so tell us about this Commissioner's Cup and what to expect there and what's going on.
Well, it's just the NBA's in-season tournament where in this case, it's split up into the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference rather than there being different groups. And you just go up against every single team in your conference. Then you're going to have kind of like a playoff style, but it's winner go home for each game. And then the last 2 remaining teams will face off in the finals, and whoever wins the Commissioner's Cup.
Okay, so in the Eastern Conference, who is winning over there?
The New York Liberty.
Okay, and they're 2-0, and they've got the same record as the Connecticut
Suns.
Okay, and then the Indiana Fever, which is the team that we were just talking about, they got their second win of the season in the Commissioner's Cup, but it was their first win in the Commissioner's Cup, and they've also lost one. So they're just kind of 50-50 right now, right?
Yeah.
And then going over to the Western Conference, who's leading that one?
The Minnesota Lynx.
Okay, and what's their record?
2-0.
And they are the only team in the Western that has won 2 games. And so I'm not sure when the next game is going to be for the Commissioner's Cup. But I think they have 2 games today. Yes, there's 2 games playing today. And then those games should be finishing up right before the NBA Finals game starts. And then there was this that happened in the last game that the Las Vegas Aces had. Their star, Asia Wilson, became the first player in WNBA history to have 35 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and 5 plus steals in a game during the Commissioner's Cup. What do you think of that?
That's really good for her and for the whole entire league because it's making history. You're the first person to do it, and that must feel really good.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, that is almost a triple-double. But in a triple-double, usually you don't see anything like steals in there because you see points, rebounds, and like assists. So, I mean, here she's getting in one of those stats that's really, really good, steals, but you usually don't see it associated with almost becoming a triple-double, do you?
No.
And so that is pretty amazing feat to have there. And something that probably not many NBA stars have accomplished either, right?
I don't think so. Some probably have, but not many.
I want to say Victor Wembanyama had or came close to it this year, but I can't remember.
Maybe.
So what else do you got for us?
Well, Caitlin Clark leads the WNBA in turnovers.
Really? She does?
Yep.
I didn't know that. So that is, I mean, you thought she would be coming out strong, leading the league with points for the entire season. But you're saying that she is leading it for the turnovers.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that up right now as you're speaking about it. But that is crazy. I didn't know that. How did you find out about that?
I just heard it and saw it.
Wow, that is amazing. So do you think she will get back to where she was in college, where she is, hitting it up and, being the leader that she was in college with scoring at will all the time. Do you think she's going to get to that point?
Yeah, I think so, but not in this year.
Okay. I mean, she's still doing pretty good with the way that she is shooting and everything. And so she's doing well. Just need to see how the rest of the year goes and everything. So, and yeah, looking it up right now, and her turnovers, she has 5.4 turnovers per game.
That's more than one more. That's one more per
1.4
game
more
than the person in second place.
Alyssa Thomas. Wow. So now her minutes per game, she's still up there pretty high with minutes per game. She's still averaging 33 minutes a game.
And it only lasts for 40 minutes.
So she's doing that. She's really getting her minutes in. Points-wise, she is not even in the top 10. She is 18 overall, averaging at 15.6 points per game, whereas you get in Asia Wilson is averaging 27.9 points a game. That's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, wow. The WNBA, if you people aren't watching, it's something to be paying attention to. There's a lot going on, a lot of good basketball being played over there, isn't there?
Yep.
Okay. So we've got a couple WNBA Commissioners Cup games going on today. Then we got the NBA Finals Game 1 tonight. Anything else that we need to talk about with basketball for today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, this is all we have for today with All Star Hoop Talk. So follow, and download us wherever you get your podcast.